Introducing abstract and concrete details. What's the difference and how are they related?
Hi guys, let's get ready for another flipped video. This week I want to talk about the differences between abstract and concrete language that we not only find in poetry, but that we'll also see throughout other pieces of literature that we read throughout the year. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's start with concrete. What does concrete mean? Concrete language is going to be those words that we read that really represent like things that we can actually hold on to, things that we can see, that we can touch, that we can feel with through touch, not through internal feelings, things that we can taste. So here are a few examples. We have a key, an old brass key. What do keys unlock? Here we have a delicious Oreo cookie splashing in a glorious cold glass of milk. Just looks so delicious. I can actually taste that Oreo right now. I need to go to the store and get some Oreos. I love Oreos. My birthday is December the 3rd. Hook me up with some Oreos. Okay? Moving on. Okay, here we have some of our wonderful students at Old High. I see Kelsey and Austin and Demi, and then there's Junior Hope. Miss Nader, not quite sure who this guy is right there. I don't really know who that is, but can't tell. But anyway, so these students and teacher participated in our Nerd Spirit Day. So they were dressed up as nerds. Money, 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 money. Money. Okay, I won't sing anymore. So here's a big, pile of money. Love it. Very concrete because if we ever had the opportunity to touch that much money at once, we would. Here we have the administrative staff, along with our athletic coordinator, Coach Russell. Okay, these guys were dressing up for the day that we blued out awareness for prostate cancer, I believe. So, great picture of all of our administrators. Limousine, concrete, something that many of you, maybe you've ridden in one, maybe this year for Mayfest. Some of you might be getting limousines for your dates or for your friends. But again, just another concrete thing, something that we can touch. And last, but certainly not least, Ross Harvey. Work it, Ross. Okay, so again, the previous pictures I just scrolled through, those are examples of concrete things, whether it be a cold glass of milk, a group of friends, a car, a stack of money, or a fabulous model. Those are just concrete things that you literally, again, can like hold on to or touch. When you read poetry, the first thing that I'm asking you guys to look at again is just, the concrete part, the plot. What's the literal things that the poet is writing about? Because what we want to use those concrete images is to help us with the abstract, to kind of make sense of like what the meaning is. So let's go through some examples of what abstract might be. Opportunity. Happy, happy, happy. Happiness. Your future. Freedom. Success. Leadership. Confidence. Okay, so what I said kind of at the beginning, before I went through some of those abstract words, is how does a writer connect the concrete to the abstract? So that's what we're going to look at next.
Okay, so for example, how does the concrete item of a key represent or illustrate the abstract idea of opportunity? Is a job interview the key to an opportunity? Is studying hard the key to the opportunity of being accepted to college? Okay. Next, the idea of the Oreo cookie. To me, Oreos, they represent happiness. Oreos, that's my happy place. I love Oreos. Don't judge. I may sit with, a glass of milk and eat 4, 5, 15 cookies. But again, don't judge. But to me, like, that would be something that represents happiness. Okay, how does money, the concrete object of money, how does that illustrate freedom? Why is it that we look at students who are studious? Why do we look at them to be the ones that have the bright future? How might a limousine represent or symbolize success? How do our administrators represent leadership? How does Coach Russell represent leadership on the football field? Ross has his own version of blue steel, but how might Ross illustrate confidence? What is it about this picture that shows or illustrates confidence?
Okay, so now that you kind of see like different connections, think back to your PST chart, okay? The plot, that column is going to be like your concrete details, those things that you could really like grab a hold of in the poem. And then the subject or the meaning, that equals the abstract ideas, those concepts. And then using both of those is going to enable us to really kind of look at what is the theme and to draw this thematic statement. Okay, so let's practice a little bit.
Okay, so let's look at this poem, Advice to My Son, by Peter Meinke, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. The trick is to live your days as if each one may be your last, for they go fast, and young men lose their lives in strange and unimaginable ways. But at the same time, plan long range, for they go slow. If you survive the shattered windshield and the bursting shell, you will arrive at our approximation here below of heaven or hell. To be specific, between the peony and the rose, plant squash and spinach, turnips and tomatoes. Beauty is nectar, and nectar in a desert saves. But the stomach craves stronger sustenance than the honeyed vine. Therefore, marry a pretty girl after seeing her mother. Speak truth to one man, work with another, and always serve bread with your wine. But, son, always serve wine. Okay, so let's take just a couple of seconds here. I'm not going to mark everything, but just some, examples of concrete language, the idea of the bursting shell, the peony and the rose, the squash, the spinach, the turnips, the tomatoes, to serve bread with your wine. What might those things represent? Which lead us to the abstract ideas. What are the abstract ideas that these concrete images represent? What does a bursting shell represent? Does it represent war? The peony and the rose, how do those things maybe represent beauty? The fact that this father or mother, the advice that they're giving their son, telling them to plant these specific things, what might those things symbolize or illustrate? What's that abstract concept? And not only that, but we also have abstract words. Heaven or hell, truth, and beauty, okay? So when you're filling out your chart, your PST chart, again, the concrete, what's highlighted in yellow, that's going to go in the plot, because these are like literal things that the poet is saying. And then we're going to look at the subject and the meaning column, and we're going to, write down what I've highlighted in green. What are some of these abstract concepts that these concrete images are representing? And then the how-to column, how does the author kind of bridge those together? For example, if you notice this first stanza, a lot of the language there is negative, as opposed to the language in the second stanza, which is positive. How does the author use contrast? How does the author use, paradox? How does the author use different types of imagery? And then all of that together, what theme? I mean, there's several themes I think you can get from this poem. I think the author uses kind of an interesting way of the contrast, the idea of the physical versus the spiritual, the idea of the short term versus long term. So from everything, you guys would be able to draw, your theme and create your thematic statement.
Okay, so I hope you guys have a little bit better understanding between the differences between abstract and concrete language. Okay, so your assignment. You guys need to bring to class tomorrow a copy of the lyrics of your favorite song. Please keep it school appropriate. I don't want you to bring lyrics that are just covered in profanity. But you can either handwrite your lyrics down or bring a printed copy. But you will need to bring to class a paper copy of the lyrics of the song, something that you can write on, because we're going to do something with it tomorrow in class. Wednesday, October the 9th, first and second period, you will have a substitute. I will be back in time for 5th and 8th period. So, part of your assignment with the sub will be working with these song lyrics, so please come to class prepared. All right, until next week. See you guys later. And yes, I'm sitting in a closet because when you have 3 children, sometimes you have to hide to get things done. Okay, see y'all later. Bye.